Hi, Rhema. It's week 21, day 2 of our Bible narrative reading plan. Today we're in 2 Samuel chapters 9 and 10. David's kingdom is well underway. He's now king over all of Israel. And we see that he's a very different king than King Saul. David is showing his kindness here in chapter 9. He asks and says, "Is there anyone left of the house of Saul that I might show kindness to him for Jonathan's sake?" And so he learns about this man Mephibosheth. If you'll remember, Mephibosheth was already mentioned earlier in a previous reading, and it was mentioned that at the age of 5, basically at the time when Saul and Jonathan died, Mephibosheth's nurse was carrying him and dropped him. He's 5 years old, and he's crippled for the rest of his life. He's crippled in his feet. And so David shows kindness to him, welcomes him to his table, allows him to eat with him. He's treated him magnanimously, treated like royalty because of David's loyalty to Jonathan. David is being faithful and kind to this family because of his love for Jonathan. And this is a great contrast with Saul, who did not show mercy, who did not show kindness, and often was very petty and wicked. And so we see this difference between Saul and David. And even as we read Psalm 23, we recognize the kindness in David, and ultimately knowing that this kindness is from God. We can be kind because God, our great shepherd, is kind to us. And we see this demonstrated here in the life of David. But now in chapter 10, we're going to start seeing war in the background, and we're going to see that this is going to impact David's kingdom going forward. Remember that time is passing. Just as chapters go by, we may think, well, this is the next day or the next month, but time is passing. And while all this happens, the king of the Ammonites dies. David had previous interactions with the king of the Ammonites, and so David is going to again show kindness, show mercy. He says, "I will deal loyally with Hanun, the son of Nahash," because his father had previously dealt loyally with David. But his son Hanun doesn't believe this, and so he's convinced by others. They say, "Don't believe everything that David is saying right now." And so they convince him to ridicule and embarrass Hanun's servants. They shave off half of their beards. They cut their garments in the middle. They do these things. And in this culture, this is a great disgrace. And this is an act of war. You don't do this to someone else. It would be as if we sent some of our soldiers or our ambassadors to another country and they're treated in this way. Even if this sounds strange to us, if this happened to someone representing our country, we would understand that this is a great disgrace and really an act of war. And so war breaks out. And this war is going to be in the background of what happens in tomorrow's reading and going forward in the future. There's a war going on, and David acts as leader, and they defeat the enemy. But remember again, this is setting us up for what's going to come next. Even as we've seen David show great mercy, great kindness, great loyalty, we have to ask, will this great King David continue to show this? We'll see tomorrow, but for now, here's a summary of today's reading. For more information, go to tunemyheart.org.